Because if I personally in my life would have gone through my relationships with women by just applying the red pill theories, I would not be respected in the long term, I feel. Namaste everyone, how's it going? So we are going to be answering a question today that has risen out of the Freeman Brotherhood, and that is a network that we have. And these questions have been picked out of the Telegram chat that goes on in that particular network. And the question is very interesting because it comes from a gentleman named Sajal Maharshi. And his question is about the MGTOW red pill mentality. Is it fine or too toxic for us Indian males considering our culture and society? Now, I would love to, dive into this topic, but as usual, I try to give a disclaimer if I'm trying to talk about something on which I might not have been updated in a while, or something which is not my core forte when it comes to whatever I have inside my head in terms of experience or knowledge, or things that I've read and stuff like that. And the red pill and the MGTOW movements, red pill being the red pill belief system, if you want to call it, of operating in social dynamics and understanding male female nature, and MGTOW being a movement called men going their own way. I would say that in both, these are things which I came across a long time ago, and I don't really follow that literature anymore, neither the red pill TRP group on Reddit, nor do I follow much of the manosphere. But from what I know about these movements and their core ideologies, for example, is that you take just anything in life, right? If you have a weapon, it can be used for security and against bad guys, and the same weapon can be used for evil and against good people. So knowledge is power, as the saying goes, and power is something which is equivalent to a weapon in a way, that you can use it for both good and bad. You can use power if you're a politician in a good way or in a bad way, and the same goes for knowing about male female differences in nature and understanding of the reproductive dynamics between the two genders and stuff like that. So Sajal's question is specifically about our culture and society, that is it too toxic for us. Now, if you look at it from that point of view, about the society and about the culture, then I don't think it makes that much of a difference once you're considering a place like India, because we do not live with the same thinking patterns that our parents' generation did. India's youth is at a very crucial stage right now, where the transition to adopting more Western ways of lifestyles, etc., is just too fast, and it's happening more and more as more and more development takes place in India and digitization and stuff like that. So I would say that the younger people behave more like the younger demographic from across the world, in many cases. So I would not say that for India, to answer your question specifically, it applies that much. But what we can do is have a look at these two separately and try to figure out whether they are fine or too toxic, as your question goes. And if you ask me, MGTOW was extreme from the day I came across it, in my opinion. Men going their own way, completely avoiding your life of women, and not getting involved in any kind of relationship with them. From my understanding of MGTOW, as I said, from what I remember last and know last, I think that's too extreme an approach. And I think it's very difficult, or not difficult, it's kind of counterproductive to go against nature. Not just nature in the sense of the Brahman, the cosmos, like the universal nature, but even personal nature. Because you are one end of the spectrum of duality, which is the masculine. And in order to complete your life, or to enjoy the wholesome experience of life on this particular planet, you will need positive association with the opposite end of the spectrum, which is the feminine. That spectrum of duality exists in every domain of life, whether it's minus, plus, zero, infinity, whatever you look at. So MGTOW for me is too extreme, because avoiding women, I wouldn't like that personally. And it's not that women are that bad. Nobody is bad, neither women nor men. You know, it all comes down to the individual. That's why the the Freeman ideology has one core pillar, which is completely focused on the individual. And instead of looking outside, looking on the inside. So that is why I would say that neither women are bad nor men are bad. So having such an extreme approach is maybe too much. Now coming to red pill. Oh man, it's brilliant. It's brilliant for nice guys. It's brilliant for shy guys. It's brilliant for socially awkward guys. It's brilliant for nerds. It's brilliant for geeks. It's brilliant for all those people. But again, as we spoke about power or knowledge being similar to a weapon, you don't want to take it to the extreme, number one. Number two, you do not want to take it as the sole and only gospel truth about male-female dynamics and stuff like that. This is one school of thought. You don't want to confound it. You don't want to like focus only on that and lose out on looking at these topics or these fundamentals which the red pill theory talks about. You want to be able to look at all of that from the perspective of philosophy, from the perspective of ancient history, from the perspective of the modern times, you know, the current social environment, and all of that. Red pill looks at it from a scientific, psychological perspective, social psychology, behavioral psychology, and stuff like that, if I remember correctly. And again, these are wonderful subjects. I love them myself, and I think that any human being will gain a lot of know-how, street smartness, will become very well equipped when it comes to social navigation. So I do think the red pill is too good for, you know, a lot of different kinds of people, and a lot of men need that kind of awakening, because a lot of men will never be initiated onto the path of manhood without something which is attractive, like the red pill theory. You know, we talk about the journey of Vanvas and the mythological concept of the king, warrior, magician, lover, the journey, the exile, and all of that. But you see, the red pill stuff is more attractive and marketable because it directly deals with the genitals. It deals with your primal level of existence in a lot of ways. And hence it is very good for guys to come across self-improvement through the path of the red pill, if it is something which comes through reading, for example. Because a lot of other guys begin on their journey by stepping into the gym and understanding what their willpower or their power of visualization and then actually, you know, achieving it is. So that is why I think I've given you my thoughts on MGTOW being too extreme and red pill, for my taste, being something which is very good for a lot of people. But again, never take anything to the extreme. Balance it out with other schools of thought. Educate yourself on philosophies from different parts of the world, mythology from different ancient cultures of the world, etc. And your worldview would be much better expanded. Because, you know, if I personally in my life would have gone through my relationships with women by just applying the red pill theories, I would not be respected in the long term, I feel, by those women. Because that kind of genuine respect comes from a deeper sense of genuine being, which involves literally no manipulation or games or planning the things you say or choreographing the way your life is moving and stuff like that. It's a lot of living in the present ultimately, which is something which elevates your level of consciousness, versus living in an upgraded sense of the psychology between the male and the female is something that is not going to impact your sense of consciousness that much. You know, it's going to impact your just sense of social existence on this plane. But there are many more planes in life, and you got to learn how to evolve through them as a free man. Done.